Hello everyone, my name is Rochelle Innocent and I'm the founder and CEO of Project Purpose. Welcome to our YouTube channel. Our community is focused on fostering the intellectual and character development in children. We do this through our parent-child workshops that focus on 4 themes: autonomy, self-efficacy, compassion, and self-concept, in order to cultivate grit, perseverance, and resilience in each child. At Project Purpose, our overarching mandate is to renew and rebuild family, community, and relationships. Our YouTube platform provides us with an opportunity to have discussions on all topics that relate to family, community, and relationships with ourselves as well as with others, with a primary focus on mental health and education. More precisely, the ways that the institutions of mental health and education play a role and have played a role in our societies at large. These discussions and debates provide us with an opportunity to think critically about what needs to change within these structures in order for us to live up to our bold slogan: support, protect, and empower each child through youth-focused development, better known as leadership in juvenescence. We recognize that in valuing our children's leadership potential, that also translates as recreating and co-creating environments, both socially and politically, in order for our children to thrive. For those of you who are particularly keen on the topic, definitely be sure to check out our website. We write blogs every other Sunday, and we have a thought piece scheduled to drop this upcoming Sunday, so definitely be sure to check that out once you're done watching this video. As is the YouTube convention, definitely be sure to subscribe. Hit that post notification bell so that you're aware of every time we post, and of course, if you like our conversations and you want to keep them going, like, comment, and share this video. Let's get into it. So this topic this week, video 2 on education, is going to be a bit of a pivot from the conversations that we've had over the last several weeks on education. And it's going to be a lighter tone. It's a lighter conversation than the conversations that we had, but definitely a conversation that needs to be had regardless. And I'd like to talk about our attitudes towards curiosity and how attitudes towards curiosity stand to negatively impact the coming generations if we don't think about why we have this aversion to satisfying the curiosity of others, and why we still in some respects try to encourage and celebrate curiosity, but in a large majority of respects we discourage it. And I think that it's something that we should all think seriously about, because there's something that is lost. There's a failed opportunity when we fail to rise to the occasion and satisfy the curiosity of those who seek to learn something new. And I think if we are very serious about preserving the relationship that every person has with learning, and I'm very serious about that, I think learning is a beautiful thing, it's part of what makes us human. And preserving that sense of wonderment and that sense of curiosity is really integral to preserving someone's relationship with learning. But a lot of how our educational systems are built currently, it's more about taking in the information being laid out in front of you, and there's not a whole lot of room for thought exploration and really diving deep into the topic and satisfying one's own personal curiosity in relation to the topic. Or even in another vein, there's not a whole lot of children driving topics of conversation by way of what makes them curious. We don't get to learn a lot about what interests children until much later in life, what they want to spend their time thinking about or dwelling on or learning about. We've built this foundation that has pretty much ruled out any and all deviation, unless parents are personally motivated to do so. But we know that with everyone's busy schedule, we're all fairly reliant on the curriculum and hoping that the curriculum is robust enough to satisfy the needs of the children that are sort of being funneled in through it. So I guess the question is, why is the curriculum built so that curiosity is stifled and not nurtured? Why curiosity is discouraged because it takes time, and I get that we don't have a whole lot of time in the day, but if we want to preserve a child's relationship with learning, if education truly is supposed to be about learning, then we need to create environments that build around this notion of preserving and valuing each child's curiosity. And our society does not value curiosity. It's often met with irritation, and I get it. Like, if you're a parent and your child is asking you why for the millionth time, it must be an exasperating experience. But it takes a community, right? And all of us have many communities that have built around our upbringing, and there have been different players and different individuals who have satisfied different aspects of our curiosity throughout our growth trajectory. And be it accidental or, whatever the case might be, I think if all of us are just a little bit more mindful of the types of humans that are created when their curiosity is generally speaking satisfied, and when their curiosity is celebrated, and when their curiosity is honored by those around them, versus those whose curiosity is discouraged, is stifled, and is sort of put in a pigeonhole. And I'd like to think openly about that with all of you. And I think back on those moments, because I think I mentioned I'm more mischief over manners, and I was definitely more mischief than manners as a child. A lot of my mischief was driven by curiosity, and the way that I would satisfy my curiosity as a child is I would build adventures around the things that I wanted to learn about, and I would make them very involved. They'd be very involved adventures, and I heard quite frequently growing up, curiosity killed the cat. And it's this saying that I thought was completely ridiculous, and I'm not sure who taught it to me, but I used to snap back, well, satisfaction brought it back. And I remember people just kind of, the adults who, sort of were looking after me, if it wasn't my parents, if I said that back to them, they'd be like, this little... I definitely wasn't easy deterred by way of not continuing on the trajectory towards satisfying my curiosity. And I think, especially when you're a kinesthetic learner, you have to do. Learning is a very active, full-bodied process. So my learning always translated as me doing things and, going out of the way to figure it out on my own, whether that created trouble or created issues or not. And I remember that saying, curiosity killed the cat, and me always rebutting, well, satisfaction brought it back, because cats have 9 lives. But I wish that no one said that to me, and while it wasn't that much of a deterrent to me, I was a fairly, and I'm still fairly strong-willed as a child and now as an adult, so it wasn't enough to kind of stop me on the paths that I was on. I know that it stopped a lot of my peers, and it stopped a lot of those who were more interested in pleasing the authority figure and towing the line and conforming to expectations. And I think that that's a large majority of us. I think that some of us lose a huge part of what makes us human, and I think that is this curiosity and this wonderment, and it's because of this socialization to kind of follow the leader. And what is upsetting about that dynamic is then when you're older, to be a leader, you need to be curious. You need to be someone who is self-motivated, who is autonomous, and who's driving. And a lot of people who aren't these things were these things once upon a time, but bent so much to conform to the expectations of those around them that they've lost that aspect of who they are. And I think this topic on curiosity is just sort of a call to action to all of those who are in any way, shape, or form influencing the growth and development of a child who is seeking to satisfy their curiosity on a given topic that, is age appropriate, of course, that you help them nurture that curiosity, and you don't discourage them from figuring it out. That's part of living, right? And I think that this whole idea that learning is one directional, and that there isn't a multifaceted way of learning information. We can't appeal to a child's own sense of wonderment and what makes them curious to kind of build a bridge to learning a given topic. I think all of those are really massive lost opportunities. As a personal opinion, I think curiosity feeds a fire in us that adds dimension and color to existence. I think those who lose their curiosity lose a major part of what brings fulfillment in life. I believe that killing or taming even someone's curiosity is breaking a fundamental aspect of what makes us human beings. And curiosity really is about caring about something, caring about one thing, caring about anything at all, but let's just preserve one's aptitude to care, regardless of what it is they feel inclined to care about. And as I say regardless, sort of with a note of caution, because obviously there are topics that are concerning, but generally speaking, when we think about caring and when we think about fostering this attitude that caring is important, caring about things is important. And even if we don't all care about the same things, it's important to find the one thing that you care about, that you can talk about and that you can discuss about with other people. And it's what fuels you, it's what excites you, and learning about it excites you, and recognizing that there's a deep satisfaction that comes with satisfying your curiosity, even if it's momentary, and always seeking to find that degree of satisfaction, and never allowing anyone to devalue that satisfaction that comes with figuring something out on your own or following a path that curiosity takes you down. I guess why this is a topic that we are covering in education is I think that our education schema kills curiosity. I think the way that it's built, it really stamps out children's curiosity, like by way of conforming to the standard. The standard really doesn't have room for curiosity. It's not built into the timeline, and I think that that is a huge point of contention, and it's a huge criticism that I have of our modern education system. Whatever it is that the children are learning about, or even if there is some aspect of discovery, all of that is prescribed. And there's something about prescribed curiosity that just sits the wrong way with me, because curiosity needs to be self-driven. And teaching someone, that what makes you curious isn't enough or isn't kosher. We are going to tell you what it is that you should be curious about. It's not curiosity. That's something different, and it's not the way that I would want my children groomed, right? And I think that socializing children to discredit what makes them genuinely curious from the inside, to then have them figure that out potentially later on in life, it's like at some point we strive to fix all of these things that the system breaks in us. And I think that it's just interesting that all of us find our way back to what makes us happy, what makes us feel whole, what makes us feel complete. And it's a struggle, because what took us away from that are these systems that told us that we needed to be a certain way that wasn't a reflection of who we were. And I think that curiosity plays a huge role in that. And discrediting and devaluing our individual curiosities plays a huge role in that. Like, we are all on individual paths. We all have our own journeys to travel. And I think what builds into that journey and the path that we each take is our curiosity. So if we are taught that our curiosity has no value, then we're taught that our journey has no value. And I think that's a horrible, horrible way. I think that's a horrible message to be delivering to children. Thought exploration is a great thing, and what I love about thought exploration is there's no timeline associated with it. I mean, and even degrees of satisfaction, they're relative, and I can be satisfied with where I'm at in a given topic at this point in time, but then something might trigger a deeper look, and I know that I can always continue to look, right? Knowledge is something that is never ending. There's no end to knowledge. There's no final stop. There's no final destination. And where there is no knowledge that is available for me to sort of intake, there's knowledge that I can create for myself and for those around me. And having this value of knowledge and recognizing that curiosity and knowledge have a relationship with one another, and looking to preserve that relationship by way of building and valuing into learning, real learning, but around each individual and what it is that they're hoping to learn and they're hoping to build into themselves, I think is important. And I think that when we think about modern education 20 years from now, hopefully what it looks like is accommodating the journeys and the paths and the attitudes and beliefs and the values and the interests of each person that it is built to serve and support. So this conversation was definitely just me musing out loud on what happened to our relationship with curiosity and why did we allow it to be stamped out, and how, I guess, a great way to end this conversation is how do we bring back the attitude and around valuing curiosity and around making sure that we foster boundaries around our curiosity. We don't let other people's opinions encroach on what makes us personally curious, because what makes us curious is our signals to the path that we each are supposed to take. And I don't think that all of that meshes into specific paths that are built into a prescribed job market factory, which is essentially what our education systems are now. So that was this conversation. I hope that it was intriguing. I hope that it interests you too. I would love to hear your thoughts and your views on curiosity and how it translates within your community. And of course, I talk about everything more from a North American perspective. And I say North American, I say specifically Canada and the US. I'm not quite sure how it translates in Mexico. But I'd like to know, like, in your societies, in your cultures, in your communities, is curiosity valued? Is it revered? Is it treated with the appropriate care that it should, especially in children? And what do you feel about how we bring back systems and institutions that build around preserving every person's sense of curiosity and protect the curiosity of each individual it serves? I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to get your points of views on some of the things that I've discussed. And again, I wanted these videos to be a bit of a lighter tone. I think it's still a serious topic. I think we should still be very concerned about the way that our systems, detach children from their inner sense of curiosity, and we should work to sort of reverse the effects of that as soon as we possibly can. But definitely a change of tone than our conversations on the juxtaposition of mental health and education, which are still videos you should check out. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciated talking to you. And if you've made it to the end, definitely be sure to subscribe to the video. Make sure you like, comment, and share this video, and follow all my social media platforms. You'll find them in the description below. And I look forward to chatting with you again. Talk soon.